in the night, your heart fills with dread. Probably a murderer who wants you dead. It could be a ghost, a demon, or worse. Perhaps you're the victim of a witch's curse. It's hopeless, you're doomed. You'd call a priest if you could. You'd rather just listen to who? Sinisterhood.
Welcome to another edition of Freaky Friday, where we tell your odd but true stories. It's Friday, August 15th. Month's halfway over.
Almost there. Almost to September, which I recently heard is going to be the coolest September in years.
That's what I'm trying to
get.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to have the coolest everything. I was riding my bike. Was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was the day before. And it's one of those where it's hot, but then like a strip of cold hit me and I was like, like it's coming. And I was riding north. So it was like the chill coming from the north and I just kept going north. That's how I ended up riding 9 miles. So I was like, it's getting cooler. Not cool enough. Turn around, Heather.
You're headed towards the North Pole. Straight there. If you'd kept going, you would have eventually hit it.
That's how it gets really cold, is if you get far enough north.
That's why birds do it and stuff, you know?
Take me north. Take me.
Take me north. Winter is coming, but not soon enough. But congratulations to everyone that started school this week.
Hell yeah.
Or had kiddos go back to school. Getting your house back. Getting the kiddos back in a routine. Maybe you're getting back in routine. A lot of colleges went back, I think, this week and next. So
yeah. Driving our knees down. Yeah.
Have a great whatever year it is for you and your schooling.
May you learn a thing that you never learned before and get to teach somebody something too. That feels good. No matter if you're in a real school or not. I feel like we can all learn and teach each other everywhere.
Yeah.
Work, the streets, the
streets, the School of Hard Knocks. That's where we go daily.
The knocks. I feel like with the lineup of stories we have today, there's plenty to be gained and learned from everybody sharing their experiences, as we always appreciate. I'll tell you what, me and you talk about experiences. We've been in the backyard, not just porching. In fact, we've moved from the porch under the light of the full moon.
We had a revelation.
Yes.
We've been doing spell work and incantations and tarot. And I'm just going to say some things have happened lately that were specifically in line with what we were trying to get to happen. So there's something to be said about putting it out there amongst the universe and energy and trees. Do we have John Hopper back?
No.
No. But what have we discovered instead?
Jonathan Hopper, who is a bunny that literally sits outside with us. There's footage, there's videos.
They're so close
photos.
too.
He's just like stays like within maybe 10 feet, 15 feet, and just like eats the grass and chills with us. And we're chilling, and here he's chilling, and we're all just part of each other's world.
We're all just chilling. And then Petal, because she likes to graze. And now that we're out in more of the yard instead of under the porch, she likes to graze. And then she'll just come lay down. And the bunny, Jonathan and Petal, were laying within mere 5 feet of each other. And my goal is
someday
they get closer and closer until one day Jonathan is on top of Petal and riding her around the backyard.
Well, that will be the day, because then we can get him a little saddle and a little hat to go with it too. Because we were saying we feel like he would wear like a type of vest, perhaps. Like he feels like a dapper little bunny.
He has a top hat, perhaps a cane and a monocle. He's very
ready.
Proper.
He's very, very proper. Well, I don't know how much of all of our incantations and spell work is going to end up in the show in a mere weeks from now on October 4th at the Texas Theater.
Yes. Fast.
It's so soon.
We should start writing it.
We got it. I guess we got some ideas we've been kicking around.
Yes.
That's the best part, is that the magic comes together between now and that night, and the magic of you being there is what makes it even more magical. So come see us at the Texas Theater October 4th for our show, Season of the Witch.
I have an idea too. I'm going to pitch it to you tonight.
Let's do it. Let's we're going to get the cauldron out and start cooking, literally, because that's what we do in the back is our spell work. So go to sinisterhood.com/live shows, get your tickets. We will keep you all posted on a virtual option if you're not in Dallas and can't make it. We would love for you to join from wherever you're at. So keep your eyes peeled. And if you go to sinisterhood.com/live shows, you'll see show on land, and then in November, a show at sea. We ready. I'm getting ready.
Crime Wave at Sea 2025. We're heading out of Fort Lauderdale. We're going to the Bahamas. We're going to a private island. We're going through the Bermuda Triangle.
Choo-choo.
We're having a live podcast recording, a Q&A.
Yeah.
We get a game show, A Minute to Win It, with all the creators on this show, which I am so stoked about.
I cannot wait.
First of all, I don't know if many people know this. People that know me well do, and perhaps you've garnered it, but I am a very competitive person. So
just a little bit. She loves the game.
When you put me in like something low stakes but fun, I am there to win. I'm in a minute to win it.
Well, we're excited about it. You can join us. You can play the game show on November 3rd through the 7th on the big old ship. She said we're leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. Go to crimewaveatsea.com/sinister or the links on our website for ease of finding. And join us, Crime Wave at Sea 2025. It's the best way to see us. In fact, I would say it's the only way to see us perform on a cruise ship ever. So come on down.
Henry and Ed from Side Stories will be there.
Yes. We got
Dan and Lynn's from Scared to Death. We got True Crime Campfire. Now I've seen that there's Paranormal Chicks and a couple other spooky podcasts are going to have some shows too. So fan meetups, Q&As, we're all just going to be chilling, hanging out on excursions in the Lido deck and whatnot, hitting up the karaoke bar at 3 a.m.
I realized something that I was like, well, Heather actually cannot come on this cruise because Aunt Jackie is going on the cruise.
Oh, I forgot Aunt Jackie's got resort wear.
I was going to say, if y'all don't know who Aunt Jackie is, that was Tommy named me that in Florida because I was driving like a big SUV hitting all the curbs wearing Margaritaville Crocs
and
in a floral, whole,
moo-moo kind of
like
thing.
A long open front moo-moo.
Yes.
He was Aunt Jackie's had a couple and I hadn't had any. I was just like driving a bus essentially.
I think we had a minivan.
Yeah, it was humongous. It was like enormous. So, Aunt Jackie will be, if I've got the Margaritaville Crocs
you got to bring them.
I'm going to wear them the whole time.
Yeah,
and
you have to.
I'm going to wear my muumuu too. So Aunt Jackie will see you. I'm going back to Florida, baby. I got to wear my shoes.
And they're waterproof. I mean, it's the perfect cruise shoe, in my opinion.
My question is not if we're going to find someone else wearing Margaritaville Crocs, but how quickly.
How quickly and how many.
In line. So, we're like in line to get on the ship. And it's like, hey, I like your shoes.
Hey, look at us. We're Croc twins.
Oh my goodness. What a time. Well, that's for November. This is this week. And these are these stories this week we got to get to. You've taken the time to curate them. Everyone's taken their time to write them in. And I can't wait for everyone to hear them.
Well, thank you to everybody who sent them in as always. I'm Christy.
I'm Heather.
And let's get freaky. Content warning, this story does discuss a school shooting. This first one's from Echo, and it's called My Dad's Murder Went 2015's Version of Viral. Good day to Petal and her minions. It was a Friday night in early October 2015 when I was scrolling Facebook and came across a post with a list of names on it. A few days prior, there had been a school shooting at a community college close to my hometown in Oregon, and this post listed the names of the victims. I glanced at it and kept scrolling, but something took me back to it. I recognized a name on that list, and with the addition of the age, I knew for sure it was my dad's name. He taught English and writing at the college, which I did not know. My relationship with my father was complicated. We hadn't spoken in years. We reconnected briefly while I was in high school and eventually met in person when I was 19. But after that meeting, he never reached out again. Exactly what I had feared might happen, and one of the reasons I'd hesitated to meet him in the first place. Seeing his name on that list was the first time I'd heard anything about him since the day we met for lunch. I can't fully explain what it's like when something you usually only hear about on the news suddenly hits home in a deeply personal way. After the shooting, the community came together in an incredibly beautiful and supportive way, offering support to the survivors, their families, and to the loved ones of those who died. Even President Obama came to meet with the families affected. Remember when meeting the president actually felt exciting? I watched it all unfold from the sidelines. My father, it turned out, had never told anyone he had a daughter. He is also not listed on my birth certificate. Not long after the shooting, a former student posted on Facebook about an interaction she'd had with my dad. In short, he had assigned an argumentative essay but excluded religion as a topic. She wrote about her faith anyway, and he didn't give her a passing grade. After discussing it with him, she felt she had the chance to, quote, witness to him about her beliefs. According to her post, he reconsidered and accepted the paper. Her story quickly spread, shared widely by religious communities as an example of perseverance through, quote, persecution or discrimination. Several people I knew personally shared the post, including my mother-in-law. My mom, who's a listener, commented on the repost that the victim was my father, and I believe she took it down. I was inspired to send this in now, as you've all read several stories recently with similar themes. Personal tragedy repurposed as content. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here with my fellow Sinisisters, but still, please think before you share. Ask yourself, why am I sharing this? Would I want this to be shared if it were about me or someone I loved? Is my aim to help in a meaningful way, like raise money, gather signatures for a petition, sharing a request for tips if it is related to a crime, etc.? This experience pushed me to do something I had talked myself out of for years. I started taking Celexa for anxiety. In the first few days after learning that my dad had been murdered, I could barely leave my apartment. The world suddenly felt dangerous and unsafe on an entirely different level. I couldn't stop thinking about how easily something like this could happen again, and how much more likely it would happen to me. I was working in community mental health at this time, and often witnessed from my office window as those with severe mental illnesses made threats of violence, interacted with law enforcement, and even once circled our building holding a machete. I worried about my mom, too. She was working as an ER nurse then. Despite the experience that got me to the doctor's office, I am thankful for the push to make one of the best decisions I have ever made for myself. I'm still working as a therapist today, and I'm so grateful to now be able to speak from experience about how impactful medication can be, when it's clinically appropriate, of course. Well, that was a bummer, so here's a video of my toddler singing the theme song, Live, Laugh, Lurk, Echo.
Well, I love your sign-off, Echo, but just an unnecessary add insult to injury. Like, people have passed away, and then to make it about yourself in a way to glorify yourself and not say, this was an excellent professor and I'm so sad that he passed away, but instead to say, I'm the hero that converted this professor before this disaster happened, rather than, like she said, thinking of ways to help fundraise for victims or bring awareness to gun violence, but instead sort of make it about your own mission is kind of gross.
Yeah. Anytime somebody inserts themselves unnecessarily into a tragic story to kind of make themselves the center of attention leaves me with an icky feeling.
Yeah, it's like, what is your purpose in doing this? And it seems like the entire purpose is like your ego.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
like, to stroke your own ego.
Yeah. I think pretty much it boils down to that. Or
make
fishing for
better.
compliments. Like, oh, wow. Yeah. See, you stood up for your beliefs and look what happened, which sure, you can be proud of that and share that, but read the room. Perhaps this isn't the time for that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's not really the time to turn, like I said, take the attention away from the people whose literal lives have been lost into a way that's more self-centered. And I'm sorry, Echo, you had to see that online. I think that's another thing people often don't realize when they're sharing, something that's not fact checked or verified or whatever. It's like the image that's being used in the thing that you're sharing, you don't know who that is. You don't know who might see it. You know how true it is what you are, sharing in that case, like with, Echo's mother-in-law shared that, kind of not knowing it was Echo's dad. It's like these issues that crop up. It's more than just the person posting it. It's like we're all part of it too, because it can't go viral without all of us like helping, carrying it along, in our little way. So it definitely makes you stop and think before you post and say, like, it's like, is this a helpful thing to do?
Yeah. What do they say? Is it helpful? Is it true?
Yeah.
I forget all the other
true,
ones.
True, helpful, like, I'm always like, is it interesting? It's not the I though.
Is it funny though?
Or like true is, yeah. So, I mean, stuff like that. So, yeah. But is it going to make, like, how does it relate to me? That's the other one. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, something like that where you just do like a general check, like, it's not, if it's so funny because I think on sharing on social media, it's just such an easy one button thing that you wouldn't go to 1,000 people in your life and stop them and go, hey, do you want to know about this time that this happened? And it's like crazy that social media does make it that easy. So I don't know. It's wild, but gives us something to think about for sure.
It does, for sure. Well, thank you, Echo. That is, an all-around hard thing to grapple with, not having a relationship with your dad and then finding out he passed in such a horrible way. I'm so proud of you that you took the steps for therapy and you are a therapist and medication. I mean, I'm an advocate for it as well. As long as it's, you're doing it safely and through a psychiatrist, but some people need it and there's no shame in that. So good for you. And I'm glad that it's helped you work through some of your grief.
Absolutely. And I like that person who's like, I'm a therapist. I still need help though. And that, like, it's proof that we all need help and we can never be the whole expert for ourselves. It's a collaborative process. So thanks.
No way.
Sinisterhood will be right back. Man, we were just talking the other night in your studio about all the various things each of us do to try to go to sleep, whether it's read an audiobook, watching something, not watching something. We got to turn our phones off.
Trying to get our screens off before we go to sleep.
We're like doing alphabet games, like listing off animals, listing off letters that we can think of, and pretty much anything you can to try to sleep. But the real thing you need is some soft ass sheets.
Yeah, you can do all those. But if you're not crawling into Boll and Branch's signature sheets, what are you even doing? They're made free from toxins with the finest 100% organic cotton. They are so buttery. They get more buttery with each wash. It's wild how, like, most sheets, when you wash them, they look tattered and ratty.
Like,
these just get better and softer. Plus, they're ethically crafted by expert artisans that earn fair wages.
I knew Boll and Branch was good because you loved Boll and Branch before we even started working with them. And then I got on the Boll and Branch train. And I'll tell you what, the other night, non-Boll and Branch sheets were on my bed because you have to rotate them out. And I spilled something on the mattress. And by that, I mean I was eating applesauce in bed. It's fine, whatever. It wasn't spaghetti. But then I was like, God, I have to change the damn sheets. But then I thought, I get to put the Boll and Branch sheets on. So they're that soft that they make you happy about changing your sheets.
Yeah. No, I literally yesterday was like, I'm throwing out every sheet that's not a Boll and Branch sheet. I'm going through my linen drawer and throwing them all out because when they come up in the rotation, I don't want them. I'd rather just wash laundry and get my good ones back each time.
If it's not them, I'm disappointed, honestly.
Yes,
but you
absolutely.
Can try what we're talking about. You can try Boll and Branch sheets for an entire month. Seriously, you can wash, style, and feel the difference for yourself risk-free. They don't change the way you sleep. You can send them back for a full refund.
Feel the difference an extraordinary night's sleep can make with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/creepy. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/creepy to save 15% and unlock free shipping. Exclusions apply. Content warning, this story discusses sexual assault. Well, this next one's from Emily. And it's called, I Didn't Start It, but I'll Finish It. Hi, ladies. Longtime listener, first-time caller. You guys crack me up, and I wish I had a funnier story for you. But here is my finishing a fight that I didn't start story that I was inspired to share after listening to Freaky Friday 174. This took place on a cold and sunny early January day in England of 2021. It was the start of a new year. And with nothing to do that day, I decided to go for a lunchtime walk around the local forest. This was a place I had walked and cycled many times since I was a child, and it was often busy with families, dog walkers, cyclists, and the like. I stopped at a local shop to get myself a drink and some snacks, and then my sister rang for a post-New Year's parties catch-up. So we chatted as I wandered around the paths on the edge of the forest, passing several people as I walked, meeting peaceful cows and ponies who were grazing in the winter sunshine. Shortly before the end of the call, after lamenting on the shit show of the previous year, COVID lockdowns, my cat going missing, work woes, etc., my sister said that she was sure this year would be better for us both. In a display of dramatic foreshadowing, I joked, "No, I don't think this is my year either. I'll hold out for next year." So we said our goodbyes, and I found a slightly muddy, shady spot to sit on a log and eat my snacks while planning to watch the world go by. I had only been sat down for 30 seconds. I had just cracked open my can of fizzy drink when I saw a man walking the same way that I had just come. As I said, this is a popular walking spot, and I was only just off the path, so I wasn't surprised to see someone. I was surprised, though, to see that this guy was walking through the forest mud in white trainers, and I thought to myself, I'm glad I have my Doc Martens on, because the mud was pretty bad in some areas. My surprise at his choice of footwear soon turned to an anxious feeling as he continued towards me, away from the path. That feeling amplified tenfold when I realized he was wearing a face mask, which is not needed when you're out on a walk in the forest by yourself. My stomach dropped as he walked right up to where I was sat on my log and said, "Hi, babe." I replied, "Hi," still hoping I was misreading the situation or that maybe it was someone known to me that I hadn't recognized. When he sat down next to me, I realized that I did not know this man and that he probably wasn't wearing a face mask for COVID-related concerns. He didn't say anything, just looked at me for a few seconds. And because I was getting nervous and was still hoping this was an innocent interaction, I said, "Happy New Year?" To which he replied, "Happy New Year, babe," and continued to stare at me. After another awkward pause, I was trying to work out how much danger I was in. I'm just over 5 feet tall and weigh about 50 kilograms, and this guy had at least 8 inches and 30 kilograms on me. I asked him, "Can I help you with something?" Really, really, really hoping that I was misreading his creepy vibes. Unfortunately, his reply was, "I want you to suck my dick." And my brain froze. The only response I could come up with was, "What?" He repeated, "I want you to suck my dick." And I came back with the incredibly witty, "Fuck off." Everything after this happened very quickly, and his strength advantage became painfully clear as he grabbed me by the hair and swung me off the log into the mud onto my back, causing my glasses to fly off. My brain was in overdrive trying to figure out if I would be more likely to be hurt if I fought back, but it didn't take long for me to decide, fuck this guy up at all costs. He was on top of me in a flash and had my legs trapped beneath him while he was grabbing at my clothes. I tried to punch him in the ribs and the head, but he was so close that I couldn't get much power into my swings. What I did next makes me queasy to think about even years later. I grabbed his face with both hands and jammed my thumbs into his eyes, which honestly is the worst feeling I've ever experienced. By this point, my jacket had been pulled around my face so I couldn't see him, but I felt him get up or fall back, and then he was stood in front of me, yelling at me to stay down. I looked right up at him and he lunged towards me again, so I lifted a leg and landed a kick to his crotch with those big boots. He kept yelling at me to keep my head down as he backed away, but I was already up and looking for my phone and my glasses because fuck that guy. I found both and managed to see which direction he walked in and dialed 999 as he disappeared. I ran up to the footpath where I quickly met a couple who were out for their own casual stroll. Seriously, I was not in the middle of nowhere, and they helped me give the name of the nearest road for the police to get to because I couldn't remember where I was, despite having spent countless hours in the area over the decades. The next few hours were spent getting my hands swabbed for DNA, giving my statement, and saddest of all, getting my favorite jacket, scarf, and jeans taken away as evidence. Due to where it happened, there was no CCTV available, and there were a lot of possible paths and roads he could have used to leave the area. They did have CCTV of the shop I visited, and when I had to give a description of what I was wearing so they could find me in the footage, I said, "I was wearing a big pink fluffy jacket, baby pink Doc Martens, and I have a bleach blonde permed mullet." They found me pretty quickly in the footage. There was a police appeal locally resulting in a couple of leads, but both ended with no arrests. And ultimately, the guy was never caught. But I hope his eyes hurt forever. I have since moved to another town and got myself a very tiny 55 kilogram or 121 pound dog to accompany me on walks and keep me safe. I've attached a few pictures of us in his first and second birthdays and of him winning first place in a dog show because I want you to see how handsome he is. Here's a link to the local news story on my attack.
Well, Emily, thank you for sharing that. First of all, thank you for sharing your harrowing story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second of all, your dog is beautiful.
Oh,
he deserves
look at him.
Just all the other dogs, and I love all dogs. They don't join the contest because you're never going to win. This is an A+ number
look
one
at
dog.
that face with his little one ribbon on, sitting so sweet at the. We're ordering drinks at the bar too.
On his little cone hat
like that.
on.
His little birthday hat. Stop. He is a big boy.
Yeah.
I would feel safer walking around with him, and I don't blame you 1 second. This is a true nightmare to be in the middle of the day, a place people are around, you feel safe, and still something like this can happen.
100%. This is my fear. And thank you for sharing your moment by moment. I think when we go moment by moment of things like this that's happened to other people, it literally does something for, at least for me. I can't speak like psychologically if it's like legit, but for me, it helps me think like, oh, that's what they do. Like sometimes, and sometimes it may just be, I was walking and someone came at me like a linebacker and just like, tackle me or whatever. But just to have an idea of like, you can see things like devolving and like, you did nothing wrong. Obviously, you're just sitting on your bench. Love to hear that you kicked him in the dick with your pink Doc Martens. Fuck yes, Doc Marten. And to also say, I hated that I had to do it, but like that feeling of like in that moment, that's what I felt. And like, that's what I wanted to do. And I am so appreciative of you for sharing this story. Cause I always would tell myself like, I'm going to gouge their eyes out. I'm going to kick them in the dick. But to hear that you're like, you go for it. Like in that moment. Thank you very much. I think it's empowering to read.
Oh, 100%. I imagine that is a feeling you won't forget. And I hope he never forgets it either. But when push comes to shove, do whatever you got to do to keep yourself safe.
Feral, dude, beast mode. You did.
Oh yeah.
And 50 kilograms is like 100 pounds ish. And then, so he has like 60 ish pounds on you. I mean, that's not insignificant to have somebody that essentially tosses you around like a rag doll. And then that's when you're like, well, we've all got a soft bit right above our nose. Let's go for it. So,
and right below our belly button.
For real. And it's just like, whatever you have to do. I say if somebody's attacked, shred them, dude. Shred them. Nails. Scream like a banshee, bark like a dog, chew on them like a dog. That's what I plan to do. It's like the old Dane Cook bit where he's like, if it's a crazy person at work, you just have to act crazier than them. And it's like, if a person's attacking me, I'm going to be more vicious and violent. You're not going to like this. My new
scare them off.
Dude, my algorithm is women screaming at people who have catcalled them in the streets. It's like, I'm going to fucking fist fight you. And I'm like, the world is changing. Everybody better watch out because we're all fed up.
Oh, well, perfect time to also say the world is changing because we got TS12 on the horizon and new heights. If anyone's going to turn things around and give us all that push we need to get over this finish line, it is our queen.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. October 3rd, the soundtrack to The Revolution drops. Also, let's just point out that that's the day before our show. So everyone,
get ready to just listen to a playthrough. That's now our show. We all just sit and we listen to a playthrough and we will pause and react and comment and take questions and like banter with the audience. I mean, I'm not going to say that isn't at least part of the show. It won't be the whole show. We got to hear the tracks.
We will mention some of it and it will be included.
Sure.
But for real, I'm excited for this. The Life of a Showgirl coming out October 3rd. I cannot wait. Yeah, I have not only do I have a midnight sweater on, but I have my Jason Kelsey.
You're fully representing
New Heights. That's how I feel about it. Is Jason screaming at the Buffalo game?
we were lucky enough to get the poster, vinyl, everything that dropped at 12/12, and then the next day they did just a 72-hour drop of exclusive CDs. I had already missed out on two. Had two in my cart as I was checking out. One of them became unavailable. The one I wanted the most, but I got one of them. Maybe they'll do another re-release. I don't know.
But yeah, I think it's, I don't know what the vibes are going to be. I guess Max Martin and Shellbach, but I'm like drums, powerful anthems, just like to me, I was like, oh, I'm getting a new CD of running music. Like, I'm going to like shit where I'm like, I can run 10 miles to this. And if anyone tries to stop me, I will find baby pink Doc Martens and I will kick them in the dick.
First of all, those 100%. Sound great. I might have to get a pair.
Yeah, you're a badass, Emily. I'm so sorry you had to go through this, but I am so appreciative, genuinely of how detailed this was and how much you were willing to share with us, because I think it really gives us like kind of insight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those first-hand accounts are very powerful. And yes, to echo Heather's sentiments, thank you so much for sharing.
Give me that dog, too. Give me that dog. Sinisterhood will be right back. You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. That's why we switched the show phone to Mint Mobile. The Mint Mobile, I'll tell you what, it's everything you want in a phone. It works fast. It's reliable. It doesn't cut out.
Doesn't drop calls?
Yeah, we're a small operation, right? We're not trying to we don't need like a big phone system with 1 million lines. And so it's very affordable as well.
Yeah. With plans starting at $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. The coverage and speed you're used to, but way less money. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially. And the best part, use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts.
You think it couldn't be this easy to switch, but they really do. They send you everything you need. They have instructions that are clear as day. And also once it gets going, you're like, well, it's probably not going to be awesome, right? Yes, right away, out of the box, you just click. It's like 3 or 4 steps. I didn't even need Paris's help, and I thought I would.
Here, it's so easy, and I'm all about a plan that lets me use my existing phone. And I'm never going to switch if I lose my contacts, because there's people in there from like grade school. How am I ever going to get that information back?
They're gone.
This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/sinisterhood. That's mintmobile.com/sinisterhood.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Well, this next one is from Maddie, and it's called Recollections of a Security Guard Part 2. This time, there are other bodily fluids. Hey, ladies, you might remember me as a security guard with the pet skunk who wrote in a while back. Oh, yes, we do, Maddie.
Indeed.
His name is Sputnik, since you were wondering. Couldn't be more perfect. He's my little satellite, orbiting my feet every time I stand up. Your joke about him going to prison was the cutest thing ever. I couldn't stop smiling, which was a problem because I was getting electrolysis on my face while listening to it. I'll attach a picture of him in gay baby jail, where naughty baby skunks go to repay their debt to society and learn not to bite. Anyway, I have a few more security guard stories for you. One night, I spotted someone on the cameras in a far corner of the property. He was shirtless and shoeless with wet socks, even though it was close to freezing outside. I went outside to speak to him, and because it was so dark in that area, did not realize he was covered in blood until he insisted on shaking my hand. He then tried to hug me, and as much as I love hugs, some tiny part of my brain suggested that embracing the blood-soaked shirtless man might be a mistake. I'm very astute like that. So instead, I walked backwards, he walked forward, and we went around in circles, debating the merits of physical boundaries. Eventually, he told me that he was a gang member who was recently in a shootout. I have no idea if it was his blood or someone else's. I would suggest that it might be considered rude to wear someone else's blood, but since my hand was now covered in it, that would make me a hypocrite. I asked if he needed an ambulance, but he refused. He told me not to worry, that this was his territory now, and he would be protecting my work site. Unfortunately, that's already my job, and if someone does it for free, it could drive down wages. He wasn't really interested in listening, though, and proceeded to wander around the property. smearing blood on every door handle and railing he could find. Then he picked up a large, heavy rock from the garden and started throwing it around as he went. As I expressed in my last email, I hate calling the cops and always consider it as a last resort. This was a little beyond my capabilities, though, so call them I did. I made my way back to the lobby and made sure an employee who was staying late came in with me. No shirt bloody boy journeyed around the property, left for a bit, and then came back to sit in a chair in the entryway. This was the fastest the cops had ever deigned to show up, smashing their record with an astonishing 20 or 30 minutes. I could see on the cameras that they had pulled a rifle from their vehicle and were heading up the hill. I hoped they weren't about to obliterate this guy 15 feet away from me. Luckily, he went with them without any fuss. I told the police that he might need a hospital since I still didn't know who the inside fluid he was wearing on his outside belonged to. But after a couple of minutes, they just uncuffed him and let him wander off down the street. Some say he's still out there. That's not true. Nobody says that, but you could say it, and then we could say that some say it. I had to go around the property cleaning blood off everything, and some of those metal surfaces were so cold I could barely touch them. Story 2. Another evening, I saw a man and woman duck into a little corner beneath the video surveillance in use sign. It was the same corner the Dookie Bandit from my last letter used as a bathroom, so you know it has a certain je ne sais quoi. I went out to see what they were up to and found the woman on her knees, man with his pants down, and exactly what you'd expect taking place. Keep in mind, this area is barely shielded from the street. I used my go-to line for confronting people without being too aggressive. Hi there, is there something I can help you with? Without missing a beat, the man said, probably not as good as her, but you can try. I asked if they could move back onto public property, and they pulled up their pants and headed to the bus stop. I returned to the lobby, and about 10 minutes later, they were at it again. Technically, the bus stop isn't in my jurisdiction, which is why I can't do much when people set it on fire or whatever. But it's also difficult to explain to guests and employees that they must walk through the blowjob gauntlet to get into the building. So I ended up politely asking them a couple more times to stop. It wasn't the first naked person I've seen at this job, and it surely won't be the last. But it was the only time I was invited to participate. If you want more tales, I have plenty more, including one with an even more intense police response. Just say the word. And of course, here are some more pet skunk photos for your viewing pleasure. You can share those and the blood pictures if you want to, but probably not the arrest picture.
What an adventure every day for you, Maddie.
Your job is
it's like
never boring. I can't, if like a boring night at your job would still be more excitement than I think I would want to have.
100%. First of all, what an unfortunate thing when you head out to greet someone, you give them the put her there, pal. And then when you draw your hand back, it is, as we have in this photo, just looks like they drug their hand through, like fake blood, but it was real, but it's real fluids that's supposed to be inside of you. And now it's outside. And
you don't know whose it is. And that's why that's never a good thing. But yeah, there's a picture of, the gentleman being handcuffed here, who I guess was later let go. I don't know why you decided to do that.
Just let him loose. Let him loose. And as for the folks that were getting their DSing on.
Good Lord.
This is why you don't just stop, drop, and suck in the streets, because you don't know that you've stopped at the Dookie Bandits corner. That you're just like, oh, it's just like a fresh corner. Maybe recently someone shitted there. Go elsewhere. I don't know that they're at the bus stop sucking each other off because it's like your favorite place to go.
Yeah.
Potentially there's especially given that there is a hotel, or maybe it's like part of it. But doing sex in public, you don't know who can walk by, so don't do that. It's not fair. I don't want to see that. And maybe kids walk by, Let's not do that.
Yeah. You're either going to get asked to stop or you're going to get invited to participate. I'm not going to choose that one in this setting for sure.
I will say...
teach their own.
Yeah.
I think you made the right call, though, by, just go do it somewhere else. And also, you've got to be the most understanding security guard that I've ever heard of in my life. Like, you always give people the benefit of the doubt. And also you're trying to like help them out before they go to jail every time.
It's like we should all be so lucky as to be as kind as you are, but also receive that kindness when we are in a very unfortunate way, which it sounds like a lot of these folks are struggling, right? They're going through a tough time. And like you said, they don't need to be perhaps blasted by a rifle. They probably need to be taken somewhere and given some type of resources. But
yeah,
from a comedic perspective, I will say, Maddie, you kind of set yourself up when that was happening. And the question was, is there anything I can help you with? I know it's your go-to line, but like, is there something I can help you with? I'm going to go ahead and say, no, I think he's all set.
No,
unless he's because like, bring me a Diet Coke, actually.
Yeah. If he's like, well, you can get down there too. See, yeah, you gotta say a statement because questions open yourself up for stuff. A statement of, well, it looks like you've got everything taken care of here, but I'm going to need you to move it over away from the dookie corner.
Yeah. Or you walk up and go, Mr. Thompson, is that you? I don't know. Just see the look on her face. No, but you did the right thing. I think you didn't know you were going to get a sassy BJ recipient.
No, but in his defense, kind of a funny retort. I will say the best part of this whole thing is Sputnik's array of photos, ranging from covered in flowers. We've got some kind of video game where Sputnik is, or VR thing where Sputnik is involved in the game. Very cute. Gay baby jail. Sputnik, you can't bite.
No
biting. Or you're going to get put in gay baby jail, Sputnik.
I'm next because I love to bite too. Me and Sputnik. God, I love that thing. I just want to snuggle Sputnik.
Yes.
Sputnik's paws. I want to touch your little paws, buddy.
What a sweet little thing you are. Maybe we'll get a skunk in the backyard.
That's the next. After the bunny.
Please don't spray us.
No.
But
we won't startle.
Also, just out of curiosity's sake, Maddie, do you got to get him descented? If we haven't gone over this before, what do they do? Cause is it like cats where you don't want to remove their claws because that is painful for them? Or is this just like, they're not going to miss it if they don't need it?
Maybe. I would like to know. Send us in the answers, Maddie, so that Christy can get a pet skunk.
I need to know these things so I know how to pitch this to Tommy when I'm trying to get a sput.
I'm the worst because I'm like, Sputnik. You should get that pet. And then I will also get to enjoy it because I come to your house multiple times a week. So it's like I have a pet with none of the responsibilities. I need to stop suggesting that you get pets.
You have a pig, 3 guinea pigs, a wild hare, sometimes a frog, and a skunk. Yeah. Also, I'm building a crow station in the backyard because I'm trying to really channel that energy. And lightning bugs and ladybugs have been very prevalent lately as well.
You can, man. My sister's gotten drawn crows to her
I'm
now.
Drawing them.
With like objects and she can do something and it'll cause like a swarm to come to her. She's
I saw a whole TikTok. This lady built like a temple to them basically with food and little shiny things. And then they bring her shiny things. I'm doing it.
See, I would do that, but Buffy just chases anything that's not the goose. Anything smaller than the goose, Buffy wants to chase it off. So I have no squirrels. I have no bunnies. I saw a bunny in the alley and I was like, you'll never come to my house. I love Buffy, but she's like a hunting dog. Like she wants to hunt. So I'm like, okay, it's not your squirrel. Can't have that squirrel. But no. So Sputnik, you can't come to my house. But
no, but you can live at mine.
You can live at Christy's house. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Maddie. And hit us with whatever
all
else
the stories.
You got.
Yeah, please, any of them. These never fail.
Sinisterhood. We'll be right back. Well, this next one's from Sarah, and the subject line is 23 badass bees and 1 stupid man. Hello, Heather and Christy. Longtime listener, big-time fan. Your podcast has kept me sane on many long drives and long work days. Thank you for entertaining while also being kind and decent humans. I've been thinking about writing in for a while, but the being filmed while pooping story last week, episode 174, really made me want to write in. It's insane that this is a common thing, but I loved Heather's message about women taking back their power, and I wanted to share my story. Back in 2017, I was working for a fun startup company, and we all used to hang out with each other after work, trauma bond over the insane tasks our boss made us do, but also because we all had fun together. To this day, some of these people are my closest friends. One day, I was having a really tough time at work. to a point where I was afraid I was going to get fired. Long story. So I'm in the back, hiding, trying to keep a low profile, when my boss came back to find me and asked if I had time to meet. My heart dropped. I said, yep, and followed her into the room with HR with a pit in my stomach. I really thought I was getting let go. Little did I know, that was the worst of my problems. The first words out of HR's mouth was, do you know what upskirting is? Which was not what I was expecting. They then proceeded to share with me that the kid I sat next to, who I was friends with, who had driven me home, who I had hung out with after work, that kid had been taking photos up girls' skirts at work and putting them online. Not only was he putting them online, but he created little bios/profiles about each girl. In total, there were 23 girls who had profiles on this disgusting site, along with photos of our underwear. Some pictures had blurry faces, but you could clearly see who was who. He even had the audacity to use our LinkedIn photos as the profile photos for our bio and disgusting backstory about us. I guess some valiant creep who was on the site noticed how we used our LinkedIn profile pictures and figured out all 23 of these girls worked at the same place. And then he reported it to our company. The happy ending is we all pressed charges and he ended up getting 2 years in jail. The judge said that our victim impact statements were the nail in his coffin because he referred to this as a, quote, victimless crime. We ended up changing the laws in our state regarding faceless pictures/digital defamation, so the next creep who tries this gets a lot harsher of a sentence. There's not a lot online, but here's an article about his arrest I would like framed on my desk. It's the first one. I wanted to share this because I want to shame this asshole until the end of time. And secondly, I hope anyone who's ever had this or something similar happen to never feel alone and to know it is not your fault. It took me a long time to wear skirts in public again, but fuck that guy and he doesn't get to win. I hope anyone listening who needs a little pick-me-up is inspired to take their power back. Thanks for reading. I appreciate you encouraging everyone to take back their power and say no to creeps. That's why we're all badass. Sarah.
Well, Sarah, you're a badass, as are the other 22 females at your job. What a disgusting pervert. Fuck this guy.
Seriously. Christopher McMillan, age 26 of Holden, was arrested at 9:36 a.m. on a Somerville warrant charge of disseminating a photograph of an unsuspecting nude person. Listen to the phrasing.
Christopher McMillan, 26.
Age 26 of Holden is what it says.
Let's spread his name far and wide.
McMillion. It's McMillion. Anyway, okay. It's a true thing that I'm saying here, and don't do the thing if you don't want a true thing to be said about you. But to say an unsuspecting nude person, like, isn't that disgusting that you disseminated photos of unsuspecting people's nudity? That's such a creepy thing to do. Just sick and perverse. But I'm also very proud of you guys for speaking up on your own behalf, because it's a hard thing to do a victim impact statement in court and do all that. But I'm glad sounds like you changed the judge's heart. To call it a victimless crime is insane. I'm sorry. What? There's victims. It's not victimless. Someone's on the other end of the crime. So that's wild, but I'm glad you all have made such strides.
That's what I was wondering, if the perpetrator was calling it a victimless crime or the judge was calling it a victimless crime, and then the impact statements changed the judge's mind, because that is wild for a judge to say that.
Yeah, I read it as the judge was like, oh, it's kind of a victimless crime. He's like taking pictures without their knowledge. Not. Imagine that was you, man, and people see your wrinkly sack, assuming this is a man who would say something like that. All over everywhere. And you're like, everybody's like, is that, weapons of mass destruction, like Arrested Development? No, it's balls. It's balls.
Imagine that is your daughter or your sister or your mom's underwear and private areas posted online for people to see with bios given. And then an actual LinkedIn profile pic. So you're doxing them too.
That's the thing about this too. It's not so much the upskirting, which is awful. It's the fucking betrayal that we sat by one another.
Yeah.
We commiserated over our bosses together. Yeah. And meanwhile, insidiously,
I rode in your car.
I rode in your car.
You may have had a camera down at the fucking footboard.
Sick, fucking sick, dude. And also, too, it's not, oh my God, I'm so sorry I did this. I was really impulsive, and it was an impulsive thing. Bitch, you made profiles.
Yeah.
You
23 girls? That's not impulsive.
Time. No. Nah, you nasty. You nasty. Well, you got 2 years, and I hope you keep your nose clean. And honestly, though, I don't feel bad still talking shit about this person. I think you got to write like an individual personal letter to each of these women, truly saying, I understand now, to think about how violative this is. And guess what? You get violated in jail. You got to do a strip search, turn around and cough. Someone's going to hold your, see if you got contraband in your ass. So perhaps having been violated now by our penal system, he maybe has some insight, but until you go and like, don't expect anything in return, but are truly trying to make amends for what you've done. Nah, fuck you. Sorry.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Put him on blast.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. And kudos to all of you for being such badasses and leading the way for future victims to not have to go through what you went through, or at least there's harsher sentences for people that do this. I mean, you're literally changing laws. That's incredible.
Yeah. And for anyone who's like, it's a victimless crime. What the fuck? Go back to the 50s, you fucking idiot. Like, what year is this? Oh, women, they don't have rights. Yeah, we fucking do. And you can't take pics up our skirt.
No.
Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this next one's from Katie. And the subject line is Cathartic Moment thanks to Freaky Friday, episode 70. And content warning, this includes discussions about DV and child abuse. I'm slowly working through all of your episodes, and just today listened to Freaky Friday, episode 70. I just wanted to drop a quick line to say thank you to the 2 submissions discussing DV. I, too, lived through a lot of DV as a child. Physical and emotional abuse perpetrated by my so-called father, and heavy manipulation and emotional abuse perpetrated by my mother. Shit runs downhill, as they say, and I was at the bottom of the hill. I don't really want to go into all of it because I've been doing therapy work to put that in the rear view. However, as I was listening to Freaky Friday 70 and heard Kim and Rachel tell their stories and your responses to their stories, I have never felt so seen. I vowed to my husband when I found out we were expecting our first child that I would break this cycle. I didn't have a positive example of a parent to pull from when I became a mom. I did have a shit example, so every time I was faced with a choice, I asked myself, what would my parents do? And then I did the opposite. Kiddo spilled a cup of milk all over the couch? My parents would have screamed, hollered, called me something horrible, made me scrub it out or worse. So I did the opposite. I scooped up my kiddo and said, accidents happen. Let's clean this up together. In parenting this way, not only did I break the cycle, but I also weirdly healed my inner child. Through therapy and raising 2 humans, I learned how to stick up for myself. But there was always this little voice inside telling me I wasn't good enough or I was a waste of space, along with so many other horrible thoughts. But something clicked while I was listening today, and I realized I am so much better than my so-called parents. Because I took this ugly bullshit that they spewed into me for 17 years and made a kick-ass life in spite of it. I've put myself through college, I paid for my own wedding, and I've mostly raised 2 amazing humans. They're 21 and 16, so there's still a little bit of raising to go. When my first career as an educator became detrimental to my well-being, I quit and switched careers. I don't let anyone else bring me down. The last piece was me bringing myself down and hearing these 2 stories, and your responses made me realize I am exactly who I am meant to be, and the only people who should feel less than are my, quote, parents. Thank you for allowing me to share this thought ramble, even if you don't read it on the pod. You women are so powerful and really are creating such an amazing space for healing. P.S. My family thinks one of our dogs may be a squonk. Pics attached of Cooper, the big black squonk dog, and Buster, the part raccoon, part cat dog.
Oh, Buster.
Look at those babies.
Look at that, Cooper. Cooper's a squonk. I'm sorry. We've discovered Petal is a squonk, too.
Yeah, Cooper and Petal are cousins somehow. I can tell by the squishy wrinkle side. And I want to grab those jowls. I want to grab that face.
Cooper and... Sorry, hold on. Cooper and Emily's dog also look similar.
They look like cousins. They could be dog cousins from
you
across
all
the
have
pond.
such beautiful babies.
You do. And so Buster also looks like a little
I
raccoon.
love it. Yes.
Look at those ears. Well, thank you for sharing this with us, Katie, because other people like Kim and Rachel can know now that by sharing their stories, you have no idea who you might have helped. And
for sure.
Thank you, Katie, for taking the time to write in that thank you. But I'm sure there's plenty of people that listen that get something out of the time and effort you all take by sitting down at your keyboard. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. And you are incredible to have gone through such a difficult upbringing and recognize that you still have it in you to be a kick-ass parent and person. And you're doing that too. You know, I mean, your kids are lucky that they have you, and you are a badass for going through what you went through to be the mom that you are for them now.
100%. Also, you're a genius, because if you're like, I have no resources, I just know what's bad, and ergo the opposite of bad must be good. Like, brilliant. That's a brilliant intuitive thinking to just be like, that could work. And it sounds like it fucking worked.
It's like when George decides to do everything opposite because he never makes good decisions, and then everything starts going his way.
I want chicken salad on rye. Yeah, switch it up. But I love it. Also, I hear you on like having that little voice inside you tell you you're not good enough or you're a waste of space.
Yeah.
Well, genuinely, in the last like 8 months, I read in January, my sister gave it to me for Christmas, The Untethered Soul. And I found that very helpful insofar as like almost being able to like be mindful of those thoughts and try to kind of stop them. But it was a lot. I can't even explain it. It's kind of like spirituality, psychology, not really, but it's not one religion. It's like not a Christian book. It's like whatever your religious practice is, this could help you. So I liked that about it, but it has helped me combat some of those negative self-talk. So to the extent anyone else is struggling with that, that might be helpful.
Great. I've heard great things about it. I need to read it too.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Katie. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Sinisterhood will be right back. All right. Well, this final one we got is from Emily. And the subject line is solo travels and surprise, naked guy. Hi, Heather, Christy, and all the associated animals and families. I've written in a few times previously, but now I have a wild travel story to share with you. I didn't mark it as true crime because, as far as I could tell, no crime was committed, but I didn't know that at the time. Background. I just came back from a 3-week solo trip across the UK. Traveling as a woman alone is an odd, empowering, sometimes weird experience. I saw so many amazing historical sites, met some lovely people, kissed a greyhound's nose at a 12th century market cross, and wore out a pair of sneakers walking. For most of my trip, I stayed in an all-woman hostel in London. Shout out to Hostel You Rock. It was a great time, chill atmosphere, and I felt totally safe. When I moved on to the next hostel in a new city, which I will not name because what happened wasn't the staff's fault, there were no women-only establishments. So I opted for a bunk in a women's dorm in a mixed hostel. The first night was chill. I'd booked a double, and my roommate and I nodded briefly to each other while going on about our business. I was out very late on a ghost tour and slept like a log after. The morning of the second day, I noticed a large group, nearly 30, men just into their 20s checking in. Despite being early, they all had cases of beer and cider that they'd already started in on. I was a bit worried for the noise level, but that's the risk you take in staying in a hostel, right? I'd forgotten all about it by bedtime, as everything seemed quiet when I returned that evening. Well, around 5 a.m., I needed to pee. None of the dorms had attached bathrooms, so I had to unlock the door and walk down the hall. I climbed out of the top bunk, careful not to wake my roomie, and unlocked the door. I heard some voices in the hall talking, but at a normal conversation volume. Let me tell you, I was entirely unprepared for what I saw outside my door. I didn't have my glasses on, so I had to stare a minute for my eyes and brain to process. In the hall, in front of my door, was a fully naked man. Tallywhacker akimbo, nude, wedding tackle fully deployed. He had a cell phone in his hand, and there was no sign of clothing anywhere. He muttered, Oh my God, I'm so sorry, as I closed and locked the door. I gave it 5 minutes till the urge to pee won out, and I unlocked it again. Naked guy was gone, but on the wall beside my door were fresh, bloody, smeared handprints, and there were fresh blood drops all over the floor. Now, even more concerned, I hiked the 3 stories down to reception. The gentleman in nights asked how he could help me. I told him it was going to sound weird, and he sighed, I've worked in hostels for years, so it probably won't. Don't worry. Then I informed him about Naked Guy and the Bloody Handprints, goth band name, and we both trooped back upstairs. He inspected everything, and we followed the blood trail to another door in the hallway where there was blood smeared on the handle. He offered to switch me rooms, but I was checking out in a few hours anyway, so I passed. I locked myself back in my room and caught another couple hours sleep. Probably says something about how chaotic my life had been that I could just sleep after that. My lovely roommate had slept through the whole thing, but when she woke at 7, I had to sleepily warn her, hey, be careful in the hall. There's a lot of blood out there. She was very confused, as anyone would be. I was just glad it was my 42-year-old blasé self that encountered the Naked Guy and not her. When I checked out the next morning, I asked the day staff what had happened. With a soul-weary sigh, they apologized and said, it was rugby boys. I laughed and said, we have those in Canada too, and they're pretty much the same. Apparently, all the parents of the team decided to stay in one wing of the hostel and put all the players in another. The young men had all gone out to the many fine pubs in the city, and you can all guess the rest. Although I didn't get any more specifics, I was assured that no one had been injured badly enough to need medical care. So, yay? And it makes a great story. Thanks for all you do. Your podcast keeps me company whether I'm traveling or cleaning my house or working. It's like having 2 cool, smart best friends in my pocket. I've attached for you photos of my fur babies. Tracker is the black and white dog, and Sushi is the orange one, as well as some of the animal friends I've made in St. James Park in London. I got a bit smashed at a champagne high tea and wandered into the park to befriend some pigeons. Cheers, Emily.
Oh, Emily, this picture of you with this pigeon is incredible. And this is going to be me with the crows. So thank you for the inspo.
I know you travel solo, but like, can we go with you to London? Because that sounds badass. A champagne high tea.
Just and then landed right on your pinky.
Hello.
Which is also very proper and high tea of you.
It's so high tea. Look at that puppy too. Both of them.
Everybody killed it with the fur baby pics and all the feathered baby pics as well.
And like a green parakeet. That's crazy. Well, hostels are a wild time, dude. You ever stayed in a hostel?
Never have, never will. It's not for me, but in my younger years, I perhaps would have. And at this age in my life, I don't think I am equipped for it.
That's kind of how I feel. I might could, depending on circumstances and the hostel, I maybe could be convinced. But I stayed in one hostel one time in Chicago, and it was fine. It was like a fine experience. The lady peeled her hard-boiled eggs that she brought with her all the way on the bus from Toronto and sat in her underpants, which is fine. No shade. It's the room. Just like,
yeah, latex. But eggs have a smell.
Dude, in a plastic bag.
You gotta be cognizant of your roomies.
She was just trying to get her protein, I guess.
Which is why those things give me anxiety, is because you don't know who you're going to get paired with.
True.
And that to me, I got a lot of quirks and hangups about, especially when it comes to sleep stuff. Like, noises I have to have on, noises I don't want on, just like, it's a whole thing. But in my younger years, it probably would have been a fun way to make some friends.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you do risk like if you're like in a shared room that you could wake up and someone's just like,
staring
like
over you,
breathing over you,
took
like
yourself or something.
So I mean, some of them have like lockers, so it's like bed A has locker A, bed B has locker B.
That makes sense.
You can like put your stuff in there, so you're not like worried overnight, but your body's not in a locker. And I guess everybody gives an ID to check in and stuff like that. And it's like a rugby team was saying. The one in Chicago was like, it's like a chain, I think. And so, whatever. But it's definitely more for like a young or a solo traveler kind of crowd. Cause it is like a friend of mine traveled like all over Europe after we graduated college, and he stayed in a lot of hostels and stuff and just met tons of friends and stuff. But he was like a single guy backpacking by himself. And so he wanted to like meet a team of rugby guys and go to a pub with them and like, but bleed all over.
And then what? Fight? Or maybe they played rugby and got all bloody and then came back.
Or tried to jump on something, climb something, and like fell over or something. But it's funny that it's like It was rugby boys, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Rugby goes hard though. That sport is bananas.
Yeah, and bless the naked guy's heart, because him being like, oh my god, I'm sorry, like, and not being like, yeah, you like what you see, but more just like, this is weird for both of us. It's like, you're the one that's in the hallway.
But why are you in the hallway, sir?
One of
with
us
your. I looked it up because I had never heard the expression. Oh, one second.
Wedding tackle?
I'd never heard the expression wedding tackle, and then found out it's a British thing that people call the twig and berries. Nice. So I'm all for it.
Hell yeah. Add it to the dictionary for sure. Well, like you said,
dictionary.
Hey, but like you said, Emily, you're like blasé, like, okay, I mean, that's not for me. So I'm gonna go back in my room and just until I have to pee. But I feel you on that. I would have just been like, blood or no blood, I gotta go.
Well, I'm glad you had a fun trip, although it was definitely memorable in many ways. But that pigeon in you seemed like you really had a moment, so I'm happy about that.
They're like, ma'am, you cannot take a pigeon on the flight with you. I'm so sorry. You've got to take it out of your bag. And she's like, but we're friends from the park.
We bonded over a champagne brunch.
You just take the pigeon and go, okay, my address in America.
Yeah.
And then they
have to fly there. Yeah, that's what you do. Well, thank you so much for sending in that story. And thank you to everyone who sent in your Freaky Friday stories. If you have an odd but true story, maybe you've encountered Bigfoot, you've seen a UFO, you had a brush with true crime, or you felt the presence of an otherworldly being, send them in at sinisterhood.com/Freaky Friday. Speaking of freaky, have you got something creepy caught on camera, found a weird or unexplainable clip online? Maybe you just have a funny video you need us to see. Well, send it our way and we'll live react to it during Sunday Scaries, our weekly live stream over on Patreon every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Central. It's totally free. You just enter your email. Where do they go if they want to send us videos that we can live react to?
Yeah, go to sinisterhood.com/scaries. It's also a banner right at the front page of our website whenever you go there. And it can be anything. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't have a scary video for you. It's anything. It's like,
usually they're not scary. They're more interesting. Some are scary. I can't
what
say
was
that.
Scary?
What am I talking about?
Is the inside of those fucking animals' mouths. I'm still thinking about that. So
we learned what the inside of several birds' mouths look like, and it wasn't what we thought.
Don't look at what a goose has got going on. Yeah, and I'm not talking about my goose. Don't look at what like a honking goose has going on, because it's not. You don't want
or
that,
a penguin.
No, there's a lot of shit going on. But if you're curious, go to our website, go to Patreon, and you can watch it for free.
You can also rewatch them all on YouTube. It's just some of those videos don't make it because it gets pulled down. That's why we do it on Patreon first, because we don't have to worry about stuff getting taken down. And you get to live react with us in the chat and see everybody's awesome pet pics too. Well, we got to figure out the pet pics. Tommy, send an email, because they said the new chat doesn't let you do pictures. What? Yes, that's what this past Sunday we went live on Patreon. It's like a new thing, because we were going live in the community chat. Now you go live, just if you open the Patreon app, there'll be like a little banner ad at the top and they'll just let you join. So it's super easy. We got to get him to make some chat changes, though. All right. But somehow that escaped me last Sunday, but we'll make some calls and see if we can do something. I'll tell you why it escaped you is because normally when we begin Sunday Scaries, we review everyone's pet pictures, but we had a special guest for the first few minutes of this week's Sunday Scaries. So Simon Wallace Brown. Oh, he got up. He came in when we were setting up and he just sat down, and then we just hit record, and he grabbed the microphone out of Heather's hand to give his own commentary. Yeah, it's fantastic. People were asking him questions in the chat. It was great. He was like, just sitting there, and we're like, we kind of got to start, but Tommy was wrangling Petal. And so we're like, well, what do we, fuck it, just start. It was great. He did great. He had a lot to say about a lot of things. So he's very cute. I'm biased, but you can go check that out too on YouTube. Well, as I told you the other day when we were in the backyard, I was like, I just want you to know, all kids are great. I don't love spending a ton of time with anybody's kids, except there's 10 kids that I can list that I love, and yours are 2 of them that I want to genuinely sit and engage with. And I was like, because your kids are awesome. They're incredible. They're funny. They are. They're funny. Them. It's well, they love you. Well, Heather's here. And then they just take off running.
When they came to let me in the other day, I was just like, oh, not that I don't love when you or Tommy let me in. It's fantastic.
Well, it's not nearly as exciting as when you get to see them in their PGs.
Oh, they were the best.
Yes.
Still are. Well, yes, go over to Sunday Scaries and watch Simon's debut.
Well, if you like our free episodes like the one you heard today, you'll love our Patreon bonus content. You can join for free to see what we're up to next. Like I said, you get access to Sunday Scaries that way. There's also a whole backlog of free content, audio content, Hallmark After Darks we've done, other types of live streams that you can check out. You can also join at a tier and get 1,000 plus hours of bonus content like Judge Christie, where I rule on petty grievances you bring before the court. True Crime Headlines, where we break down the latest news and updates in true crime. Heather Saves, where anything Heather has found late night scrolling could be discussed. And Am I the Asshole? Unpopular opinions and other subreddits that we feel require our input. What have we got up there right now that we just recently posted?
The most recent one was the True Crime Headlines that came out to inform everybody about not only about Matt Rife, but about Ed and Lorraine Warren, and also talk about the Karen Reed grand juror, as well as the shooting at the NFL building in New York City.
Yeah.
We've got a Heather Saves coming up. We're about to drop on y'all just some silly things I found on the web.
Silly fun.
Crazy
we got to
mix
it up.
Yeah, like I said, we like serious stuff, some lighthearted stuff. That's the magic of the bonus content, because you never know what it is.
Absolutely.
Plus, if you're like, I just want to go check it out, I just want to click around without paying, guess what? We offer free trials. So join for free for a week at any of the tiers. Check out all the perks. And if you quit before the trial is over, you won't get charged. You still won't have access, though. So if you want to keep having the access to all of that bonus content, opt for an annual membership. You get a month free. And also, what else?
Ad-free episodes, monthly live stream Q&As, and quarterly live bonus content. We'll let you all vote on what you want us to do for the live bonus content. You get weekly audio bonus content, minisodes, merch discounts, and a community of the best listeners on the whole internet.
Don't forget to head to Sinisterhood.com and click shop on the top banner to check out Sinisterhood merch like t-shirts, mugs, totes, stickers, and even clothes for your kiddos.
While you're on our website, you can also review the show. We love 5-star ones, and we're much like our 30,000 subscribers on YouTube out of spite, we're also trying to get some 5-star spite reviews, because people love to drag us about how political we are, to which I say, welcome to the world. How can you not be?
That's why I'm like, your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer, but it means something to Apple. So head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can, leave a 5-star review. If you've always listened to the show and you're like, I can't swing the Patreon. Do you know what? Leaving a review is a helpful way. Sharing the show with friends, going to the playlist and sharing the show with the new listener. That always helps us out. So the more folks that are sending in their Freaky Friday stories, the more folks that are hearing Freaky Friday stories, the sooner we can grow our feral army that will then take this country back.
Truly.
Is what I'm saying. So,
truly. October 3rd, that's our due date, everybody.
Like, you know what? It's like 4th of July. It's like 4th of October is the day, baby. So, send it out and leave us a review. We appreciate it. It costs nothing and it helps us a lot.
Absolutely. While you're on the website, you'll also see spots where you can submit topics and cases you'd like us to cover. You can submit your stories for Freaky Friday, your videos for Sunday Scaries, and you'll find fun things like Heather mentioned, like topic-based playlists and tickets for Crime Wave at Sea 2025 and our Season of the Witch show, our only live land show this year at the Texas Theater in Dallas, Texas on October 4th.
We can't wait. You can follow us over on Instagram and Threads at Sinisterhood Pod. Like us on Facebook at Sinisterhood. Follow us on YouTube and TikTok at Sinisterhood Podcast to watch clips from the episodes, live streams, and more. And if you're looking for a unique and personal gift for the Sinisterhood fan in your life, maybe you want to treat yourself to a pep talk, book a cameo now. From happy birthdays to birth announcements to congratulations on whatever, we would love to create a customized video that can be immediately viewed and sent. We had a great opportunity on Cameo the other day where someone said, do whatever you want to do. I love my friend, do anything. And we decided to do a tarot poll, and it was so
great.
much fun. Like we like put our energy in and we pulled the card out, and then we shared like about the card. So that can be something you request as well as like a birthday tarot, or like, I'm starting this new job, like pull a card for this. Like Christy has, so I cannot emphasize the tarot store she has above. You can see some of it above her head. Just like all kinds of really cool decks. So we'll pick a deck for you and like pull a card if you want.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be a new surprise every time, because it's a new card every time. So go to cameo.com/Sinisterhood and book your Cameo now. Where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram and Threads at Christy M. Wallace and TikTok at Christy or GTFO. Heather?
I'm on the internet at Heather versus the World.
As always, the devil rules the airwaves.
Keep it creepy.